Who is the most underrated starting pitcher based on early ADP? We'll discuss that and more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I am your host, Dominic Martino, here with my co-host, as always, Matthew Ane.
Yo.
You can find us on all social media platforms and podcasting apps. Just search for Locked On Fantasy Baseball and we'll be there. Please like, subscribe, and comment, especially on YouTube. We love talking fantasy baseball with you. And on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about starting pitchers that you can get a great deal on based on current ADP. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more and visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started today. So, as I said, we're talking about starting pitchers. And Matt, I got the Yankee stuff on, but I think I'm going to pass it over to you, and we'll talk about our boy, Nasty Nestor Cortez.
Yep. We'll give your vocal cords a little break here. So,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, we all love Nasty Nestor. He had a great last season, but unfortunately, we got news today that my guy is dealing with a grade 2 hamstring strain, and they said he's hopeful for the start.
Day.
Yeah, opening day, which isn't great news. Now, the injury could be anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks, and this is a little scary because we got like 4 to 5 weeks for opening day, and hopefully it's only 3 weeks because then he'll have like a week and a half of spring training, and then probably have like an innings limit for the first like 1 to 2 starts if everything's on track. But if we have any setbacks, then we can have something where, hey, we're talking 8 weeks and then a rehab start or 3, and then, hey, he's not playing till May. Now, regardless of the fact, I still feel he's going to be a value because it goes one of two ways. If he's ready for opening day, he's a great value right now. He's starting pitcher 29, 97th overall pitcher. He's my 19th pitcher, so I'm 10 ahead. So when I'm getting him at that price, I'm super happy already. And even if he was a month out, like doesn't come back till May, for instance, and I get a healthy Nestor in May, I'm really happy about that. That means I'm going to get him as probably my SP5. So I will scoop that up, and I'll deal with him not being there for a month because we're good enough here. We're going to get you to have a couple of extra arms at the end of the draft that are probably going to fit in that, SP5 spot anyway. So that's where like I'm really good with it. But let me show you why. Let's see why the proof's in the pudding. Let me tell you what he did last year, right? So he had 158 innings pitched, right? He had 163 strikeouts. He had 12 wins, and he had a 2.44 ERA with a .92 WHIP. Now, that's incredible. Now, he's doing that in Yankee Stadium in his predominant amount of starts, and he had a sub-3. There's not many pitchers that could do that, period, in Yankee Stadium, let alone guys that are just doing that kind of ERA in general. And I think this next year is going to be a breakout and a half. I don't think we're going to have this really low ERA. I'm going to inflate that to a 3. I'll never say a guy's going to have a sub-3. It's just not in me to say, hey, they do that, they're having an incredible season. But still a 3.05, that's fantastic. But I think we're going to see more innings, barring any setbacks of injuries. And I think he's gonna get in that 200K category. And we talk about this guy as like a top 15 arm. I'm just really excited for Nasty Nestor. The stash is real. It's funny. Sorry for a sidebar, but what's up with every young pitcher having a stash? Is it coming back? Is it the 1970s again?
I think so, Matt. I think so. Before we know it, we're going to see somebody pull out the Raleigh Fingers handlebar mustache again.
I'm just picturing Ron Jeremy everywhere, and I'm scared.
Well, all right. I think that's enough Ron Jeremy talk for I think the rest of the season here on Locked On. But Matt, you did a great job covering Nasty Nestor. I don't know how much I can add. I'm gonna do what I did last time we talked about him. In case you guys weren't here when last time we talked about Nasty Nestor, I'm gonna give you Matt talked about last year. I'm gonna give you his last 2 years combined. So Nasty Nestor over the last 2 years had 14 wins, 7 losses, a 2.61 ERA, 42 starts, 50 games overall. Came out of the pen for a few of those. 251 innings pitched, 266 Ks, and that whip is still under 1 at a 0.97. Nasty gets it done. He doesn't have a great fastball, throws it about 92, but that's up from previous years where he was around 89. So who knows? Maybe we see another velocity bump. But, with that grade 2 hamstring strain, as Matt said, we're only going to get better value on him. He's going to slip a little bit more. And I believe he sustained the injury on February 6th. So if they've been treating it since then, maybe we get an extra week there. So, if it does wind up being on the shorter end, there is that chance that he makes his first start. But I hope that the Yankees, as Yankee fans, are cautious with him. And he's just going to be a force to reckon with throughout the year. And I did want to mention, Matt, we couldn't be more in sync. I have him as my 19th overall starting pitcher as well. So once again, as always, we're in sync over here.
Great minds.
But yes, think alike for sure, brother. But let's move on to another favorite of mine. I love this guy. I've always had him, Clayton Kershaw. Now we know that we could put him on Matt's Flanges list, and if you guys aren't familiar, Matt specifically, I guess I use it sometimes, but Matt created the little term Flanges, and we say that when a guy is injury prone or he has a case of the Mond disease. We like to have fun over here, and a lot of our current fans, absolutely love the term, and it's been used quite a lot. So we stick with it over here. So once again, Clayton Kershaw, he's going to miss some time at some point during the season. Hopefully it's not in the playoffs. But, when he's on the field, he's just one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, and you can't ignore that. Even if he helps you get to the promised land, that's still helping, So last year, Mr. Kershaw had, as a 34-year-old, had 12 wins, 3 losses, a 2.28 ERA, 22 starts, 126 innings, 137 Ks, and he kept that whip nice and clean at a 0.94. And last year he was dealing with a lot of back issues. I think there was 1 or 2 other things, but I think the back was the main issue. Back issues are very, very tough, especially as you get older. So once again, if you in the first round take Justin Verlander and then you come back and you take Tyler Glass now, you really might not want to take Kershaw because you don't want to take on all that risk at starting pitching. But if you went a little bit more sturdy with like a Corbin Burns and who's another name that's a Tristan McKenzie, just guys that we know are going to give you innings and that have been pretty healthy, maybe then you say, hey, I'll take that risk on Clayton Kershaw. But right now, you can get him as number 34 starting pitcher, pick 113 overall. And I think that's just great value for a guy that, knock on wood, if he can stay healthy all year, he's a top 10 starting pitcher. I currently have him ranked 26th. Once again, Clayton Kershaw. I just think that, I'm almost 10 spots over ADP. I think if you get Kershaw as your number 3, number 4, you're going to love it. You're going to love the results.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, Kershaw, you're pretty much getting him where his injury is pretty much built into his draft price. So, like Dom said, if you don't draft in those other injury-prone guys, those old heads, then you could draft him with confidence. And I think he's going to be solid. I don't see any reason why you should feel scared other than, hey, he might be hurt here and there. You just got to pray he's healthy in September. But he's going to be great. He's going to be over at Caper 9. He's going to have that low ERA. So that's what you draft him for. And you're not going to get that kind of production out of other pitchers. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk. Next up are going to be 2 arms that are highly undervalued so far this season, and I think you're going to like them, and you're not going to expect all that much from them. All that much, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, here at Locked On, we're super excited about our new sports betting partner, FanDuel. The midway point of the NBA season is here now, and it's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no sweat first bet, $1,000, up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from money line to points scored and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. But Dom, I think I talked enough, and I'm loving. I know you love the next guy, so I'm gonna let you take him.
I actually appreciate that, brother. I definitely do. And you know what? You were better on the ad today. I liked it. It was pretty solid, brother.
I appreciate it.
Getting there.
I only stumbled like my daughter walking. It's fine.
Hey, from what I hear, Maggie's doing pretty good these days. I heard she's tying her own shoes, you know.
Yeah, well, not tying, but putting them on at least in the right foot.
Well, hey, that's half the battle, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, that's half the battle. But let's get back here on track. And guys, I think this might be the player I've ranted the most about this season, off season, whatever you want to call it. Besides my Lucas Giolito rant, that one went pretty long, but in a positive way, Mr. Tony Gonsolin. People need to get with the program already. I can't figure it out why people don't like Tony Gonsolin and why his value is the number 40 starting pitcher, 132 overall. It's just mind blowing to me. Let's do two things here. Let's give you last year Tony Gonsolin as a 28-year-old, so he's still in his prime. 16 wins, 1 loss, 2.14 ERA, 24 games started, 130 innings pitched, 119 strikeouts, and a 0.87 whip. But that's not even the kicker. That's not even the best part of Tony Gonsolin. In Tony Gonsolin's 4-year career, 26 wins, 6 losses, 2.51 ERA, 51 starts, 59 games overall. Came out of the bullpen a couple of times. 272 innings, 267 Ks, and a career 0.98 whip. So it's not like the guy hasn't proven that he can be a great starting pitcher. I know he was dealing with some injuries down the stretch last year, but at starting pitching, 85% of the guys are going to have an injury at some point. It's just a matter of when. When Tony Gonsolin goes out there, he's fantastic. The fastball is pretty solid, sits around 93. The breaking stuff is pretty good. He keeps, hitters off balance. He's right just below that K per 9. So if you got some monstrous K guys early, he's a perfect fit. I currently have my boy Tony G ranked at number 31 starting pitcher. So I'm about 9 spots over ADP. Guys, I took him. I took him in the mock, right? I think I took him in the mock. Yeah, I took him as my number 4 or 5. I think 5 starting pitcher, which is if you get Tony Gonsolin as your 5, he's got ace upside. Now you got to cut me off here before I talk about him for the rest of the podcast.
You got a little something right here.
I do, and you know what? It's gonna pay off in the long run. I'm telling you, people need to get with the program.
That's what she said. Anyway, Tony Gonsolin, you know what? He is a great arm, and I'm honestly like where he's being picked is fantastic, right? If you can get him at pitcher 40 and it's your 4-5, I'm totally okay with it. Now, the only thing is I'm just not going to grab him early. He's my 35th pitcher, so I'm not too far off of ADP, but there is the upside. But here's the downside. So I got to be the negative guy as to why people are shading him and like staying away from him. And it's because this is the most innings he's pitched, period. You know, the highest amount of innings pitched in a single season is 55, and that was the year before in 2021. Other than that, it was 46 and 40. Now, that's why people are scared. His production is great when he actually gets the opportunity. He also gets dodgered, too, so that's the other problem. Like, Dodgers just love to screw it everybody. You know, they'll platoon like great bats like they did to Jock Peterson, and they won't release Kenta Maeda until Webb passes prime, and he only goes like 5 innings deep. So like this is what they do to their pitchers. Now, could this be a new trend where hey, they're going to even give him more of the reins and be like, hey, you can start pitching more? Maybe. We'll see. And if that's the case, he has top 10, top 15, top 20 arm potential. And at your 5, that's a steal. That's why he's on this list. Let's move on. Now let's talk about somebody else that's one of our boys. He's one of our late guys always. I'm so happy this kid's finally off this team. That's Mr. Jon Gray. Finally, he's out of the Rocky situation. Probably the smallest ballpark and where the balls fly for days. And you know what? Thank God he found his way over to Texas. and the team has gotten significantly better too. So I really like his upside. He's my 58 pitchers, and he's the 60th pitcher. I'm right on par with ADP, but he's somebody I'm definitely like keeping an eye on and in my queue for later round picks because his upside is just outrageous because he was a good pitcher and showed, passed the eye test. And in certain games, even in Colorado, he had pure strokes of genius. The thing is, you're dealing with a park like that, it's not going to be great. Last year, he had an inflated ERA, but again, I think it was his first year with the Rangers as well, if I'm not mistaken. Right.
Yep.
So, like we always say, when a guy goes to a new team, it's bound to have a down year. So this is where I'm thinking we might see a great year from him. I'm not saying he's going to have like a sub 3 ERA, but he may have a 3.5, 3.6, where against his 3.96. So, I mean, which is great. Let me read off what he did in 127 innings. He had, 134 Ks. He had 7 wins, had 3.96 ERA with a 1.13 whip. That's pretty good numbers. That's really good numbers. And honestly, that's his. Let me look at his ERA from the past years. In 2021 in the Rockies, 4.59, 2020, 6.69. He had one really great year for the Rockies. He had a 3.84, which that might as well be a sub 3 ERA because it's in the Rockies. and then and then a 5.12 and then a 3.67 again for the Rockies. Now, look, he has it in him, and he had it in him when he was on the Rockies. Now, imagine when he's pitching half his games all his games outside of the Rockies. He's gonna have 3 games, and we don't even know if they're gonna be there or here or at home. So it may even be better. He might not even have to step in that ballpark, and we'll be happy. So I think there's a lot of upside for that, and he's a great value at pick 216 overall. That's like your picture 6-7, and I'm feeling great about that piece. And hey, if he doesn't pan out, you could drop him and not even care what happens to him. So like I'm drafting Jon Gray almost everywhere if he's there, and those for that pick.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much in sync. I got Jon Gray at 54, which is also above, where ADP currently has him. I can't preach this enough because it seems to ring true. I haven't done statistics on it, but it seems to ring true about 80% of the time. A new guy on a new team, they have a tough time adjusting. It's not an easy thing to do. But he did show a lot of progress, dropping that ERA almost a full run from the 4.59 in 2021 to the 3.96 in 2022. Jon Gray is just a flamethrower. He throws about 96 miles an hour. I think he's a pretty over a K per 9 guy, and you know what? The whip was actually very solid at a 1.13 whip, so he's not going to kill you there. And Texas is going to be a lot better this year. DeGrom, the Corey Seager is going to have a way better year than he did last year. Marcus Semien, Garcia, hopefully Josh Young can break out this year. So the win should be there for him as well. I love me some Jon Gray, and I think you get him as your 7th pitcher. It's just a lot of upside there. He's going to help you in almost every single category. But with that being said, guys, our last 2 starting pitchers are of tremendous value. I don't even know why they're going as low as they are. But before we touch on them, I just want to promote our friends with our good friend Lindsey Crosby, a big part of the Locked On family. He hosts Locked On Prospects. As we say over here, and I think everyone should be saying, he's an encyclopedia of prospect knowledge. We will have him on Wednesday. I believe you guys will hear it on Thursday on audio, and Wednesday itself on the YouTubes. And just go watch his podcast, Locked On Prospects. Great guy, great podcast. And with that being said, these next 2 starting pitchers are wonderful starting pitchers as well, and these are guys that you can get pretty much with your last pick. But I'm gonna Matt, you want to take your boy here? You wanna start off with your boy, and then I'll take my boy.
Sure, I like the sound of that. So we'll talk about Mr. Jackety Jack Flaherty, Little Jack we call him here on the show, and Little Jack. It's funny. Guy just throws gas, and he's just incredible when he's healthy. You wouldn't think that from what he did last year, but he was dealing with a torn shoulder, a torn this, a torn that, and just really had a lot of issues. And it's funny enough too, nobody probably knows this, but he's been throwing with a torn shoulder for the last 2 years, which is just outrageous. And he's still throwing gas and still has the command and everything. Let me read off what he did last year, and then I'm going to read off what he did the year before. And I think you'll understand why I'm high on him still. So in 36 innings, which means, he really didn't pitch much. So this is where I'm just like, whatever with it. 33 strikeouts and a 4.25 ERA, 2 wins, and a 1.61 whip, which is bound to be happening. But let's read about let's read 2021, right? So he had, why could I never get this right? There we go. So he had, I love this. 70. He had a shortened season last year too. 78 innings pitched. He had 85 strikeouts. He had a 3.22 ERA and a whip of 1.06. That's more like it. And the kid has done this through his career, where he just is great, and he just knows where to put the ball, and he knows what to do, and strikes out everybody under the sun. And I'm just a huge fan. And I think at SP 61, pick 218, like you can't go wrong. That's like, oh my God, it's like your pitcher 6'7". I drafted him as my pitcher 6'7" yesterday. Like let's go. I mean, not yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm sorry, guys. I can't keep up with the days when you have a kid. But it's mind blowing that you can get this guy at such a great value. And I think I don't think this draft price right now, this ADP is going to be true. I think he's going to start shooting up them draft boards the second people start seeing him in spring. But he's still going to come at a discount because people are scared of what he did when he was coming back and how hurt he's been over the last couple of years. So you're going to get him at a discount. And he's going to be worth every penny.
Yeah, I'm a big Jack Flaherty guy as well, Matt. You kind of turned me on to him. In that 2018, let's do this. His 2018 and 2019 season combined for Jack Flaherty, 19 wins, 17 losses, a 3.01 ERA, 61 starts, 347 innings, 413 strikeouts, and his whip was 102. I mean, he has ace upside, so I think that's why I still look at him the way I do. I think he's a great value where he's going. I have Jack Flaherty as my starting pitcher number 50. As Matt said, that shoulder's been banged up over the past 2 years. He's missed a lot of time with it. But hopefully they got everything fixed last year and they worked with him this offseason and he's just ready to go to spring training. If he comes out there and he's throwing hard, striking guys out, I think, his ADP will move up. But as, Matt mentioned where he's going right now, it's an absolute bargain, and you literally cannot go wrong with taking Jack Flaherty at pick 218. Come on. I mean, that's just free 99 right now. But somebody who's even more free 99 is, I think he was my breakout last year. And, I mean, some injuries held him back from that, but that's Michael Kopech. Want to talk about pick starting pitcher 87 ADP right now, 309 overall. It reminds me of my Tony Gonsolin. Like, why is he going that low? I have him actually a little bit above Jack Flaherty. I have Michael Kopech as my starting pitcher number 47 right now. And last year he had a decent year. It wasn't what people expected. He was banged up here and there. I believe he had a knee issue. But, Michael Kopech's only going to be 27 years old. Last year, Kopech had 5 wins, 9 losses. That was more of the White Sox team than him. A 3.54 ERA, which is great. 25 starts, 119 innings, 105 strikeouts. I think, he bounces back in the strikeout department because Kopech in 2021 had 69 innings, 103 strikeouts. So there's room for him to improve there. And a 1.19 whip for Kopech last year. The kid's just, he throws very hard, 95, 96 miles an hour. He makes batters miss. I love the kid. And if you can get him as your last starting pitcher in drafts right now, around, pick, what would I say, 309? What is there to lose when people are taking guys? Let me see. Who do I have here? And when you're taking Cole Irvin or Mike Clevenger, Cal Quantrill, come on, Martin Perez, just stop it with these guys, Alex Cobb. You take Michael Kopech there and you trust the talent. He was a very, very high-end prospect when he came up. I love Kopech.
Yeah, buddy. You know what this smells like to me, bro?
Go ahead.
Remember that year I drafted with my very last pick of the draft, the Cy Young winner?
Sonny Gray.
No, I did that too, actually. Oh,
Yeah. I remember Matt and I's good friend JP. After Matt made that pick, me and JP looked at each other and we were like, "Yeah, Matt has arrived. Matt is now a fantasy force to be reckoned with." Then Matt railed off a few championships there too. So,
yeah, well, that and also remember Dallas Keuchel?
oh yeah. Actually, I do. That was one of your boys as well. The beard.
Yeah, man. So like it feels like that. We're like, I'm not gonna say he's gonna win Cy Young, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Kopech has some serious upside. And I mean, what 2021 is pretty much telling me is that it's there and he just needs to stay healthy. So
Yeah.
the health I really don't think has been an issue in the past. I think he had TJ, which set him back. He should have been up about 2 years prior. And then, he worked his way back. They got him out, and now he just was dealing with a little bit because he had a giant innings jump. So I think they're going to monitor him. He's probably going to pitch about 150 innings at most, and he's going to blow your socks off in terms of the Ks and ERA rate. I mean, let's go. I think we're going to see a very nice, talented kid come out, and then next year we're going to be drafting him really high. He ain't going to be no pick 309. He's going to be pick more like 30. Oh,
Yeah.
So like this is the kid you stash in your back pocket and you go, yeah, I'm gonna take this to the bank.
Yeah. And let's not forget with Kopech that he did opt out during the 2020 season for COVID, so he wasn't able to build up from that season either, which cost a lot of guys a whole year. Well, not a whole year, but at least 50, 60 games worth of baseball. But with that being said, I think we've talked about a lot of great starting pitchers here in this episode, and we're going to keep it nice and short and sweet for you guys again. But as we're wrapping up here, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Also, check out our website. It has our rankings. It has Matt and I are going to be writing articles. We have so much fun stuff coming up on the website. But also, we have another new episode coming out tomorrow, which will be featuring our good friend Lindsey Crosby. The guy is one of the best prospect guys in all of the baseball world, as far as I'm concerned. He is the host of Locked On Prospects. Please go check it out. But with that being said, I think that's going to be all for today. If you enjoyed the episode, once again, just give us a like, comment, subscribe. It's truly appreciated. But guys, until next time.
Peace.
See ya.